What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We got another trade recap. I've been super busy, guys. Honestly, I've been super busy, but I do want to make a ton of YouTube videos for you guys to learn. Today's trade, there's a lot to learn. Yesterday's price action, I felt like the trade recap wasn't really necessary. It was a pretty boring, slow price action. Make myself smaller so you can see the charts better. But today's was much better, and we picked up some longs on NQs. There was a lot of opportunities to go longs today's, a lot of beautiful entries. I'm going to show you guys how I called the bottom of the market right at 9:30 and what led me to believe that. So this is essentially the trade here. We'll dive into it a little bit later. I'm going to remove everything so that I can show you guys my analysis before. So get on the stream, and if you do want to trade live with us every single day, code 39 when you go to check out for the link down below, the WAP link down below. But as you can see, we're in clearly a pretty strong overall bull trend. So I draw what I'm famous for, which was my golden pocket fib tool from the top to that high. Sorry, it was not that one. It was right here, this next high, because that one has already got used. So from this kilo to this high in price, lined up with a beautiful GP there, as well as a little bit of a 4-hour fair value gap sitting right at 470s. Then on ES, do very similar from this low that never got taken out to this high GP, and I said, hey, this GP is taken out once or twice already. The third time this could not hold, but in this case it did hold. So we stay bullish for the day. So we go into the day thinking, hey, buyers are going to be here. Then I said also we had this weekly opening gap. You see here, price finally wanted to fill it. We open up at a 9:30 around here, and I said, hey, this is pretty much guaranteed going to fill to 5842. Then there should be buyers stepping in there, which we saw buyers actually stepping in and inverting the price. Now, there could have been a couple entries you took with the lead to go larger time frame golden pocket, but this is my favorite one on ES. We had this inversion for value gaps, and not only that, we also had a beautiful re-entry from the bottom to the high right into the GP, right? So I mentioned this, and that's the that's the difference between a goaded confluence like the GP is by far probably one of the best entry tools, versus something like an IVFG. In IVFG, you would have to enter here, and you're taking on a lot more risk. That's your stop, right? So I'm gonna move it this way, and I'm gonna move GP like here. So you see, so that's the GP. Right, you risk the GP low roughly, so you risk 2.5 points here for the same. You see, now I'm not saying IVFGs aren't good, but I'm just saying that a GP tends to be a much better entry than IVFG. Sometimes you don't get a GP entry, you settle for IVFG, but I'm just showing you guys a few different examples on how you could have traded it. The target was here because we had these clear equal highs here from the pre-market. They weren't taken out. As you can see, price did take them out. Now, I actually did not enter on yes. I entered off of NQ while our head trader Don, shout out to him, I had to stop getting the camera out of focus, entered, we had 10 a.m. news. He entered a little bit like a minute before, literally. I personally waited for the 10 a.m. news because I know usually the 10 a.m. news are going to give you like a whipsaw. So there should be theoretically a better entry, or just an entry that's a little safer. You wait right after news. So he entered along, like I think roughly it was right here. He had about a 25-point stop, hard stop on, under 487 was his hard stop, targeting the highs from the pre-market, all the way up there. That's where we exited exactly 600, exit literally right on this tippy top right here. Price is kind of still going higher, but not much higher. So that was his trade. And then my trade, I entered pretty much the same thing. I waited for the 1 minute close once this was the news candle. I like to wait for the 1 minute close of that candle, and I was looking the previous day, right? So this right here, this dotted line is the previous day. And I said, hey, if we stay hold over this, it's going to be bullish. And then I saw, yes, tap into these IVFGs and bouncing right out of it. So I was like, hey, I'm confident in this. I'm going to add into it. And I was able to get a sweet entry right down here. And I was using about 15-point stop, roughly a 20-point stop. Same idea, just a little bit of different entry, and as well as the 9:30 open price. And Cube was holding the opening price at 9:30, and then we target the higher side. Now, you're gonna find that if we go to the 5 minute, a lot of times you see this GP entry that yes give. The one that's a little bit stronger, the asset's a little bit stronger, is only going to retrace to the 0.5. It's going to retrace to the GP, while the other one's going to retrace to the GP, not the 0.5. It's kind of was the case today. You see in Q, this is the previous day close, open up much closer to the previous day versus ES. Yes, you see open up much lower. That means from just close, it was down about 0.5% at the opening, the 9:30 opening, while in Q was down much less, only 0.34. And again, since that shows in Q has relative strength into the market versus yes, one all retrace all the way to the GP a lot of times, but as long as one does and the other one only retraces to 0.5, that still is a good entry. It's almost like a divergence in it of itself that I like to look at. So then that was that entry, and it was beautiful. And then the target is, guys, the target is usually going to be what? Other side of liquidity levels. In this case, the equal highs that we had, or pre-market highs. And this should probably more than likely go all the way up and come take out some of this highs all the way up here, 670, 680. So this could have been a play I held. I didn't. I took 100 points out of it, which I'm happy with. But this couldn't have being a play, something like this with like 200 plus points. And I was talking in the chat today that's like, a lot of people are not used to holding those bigger trades. They're used to seeing a lot of influencers. It's like, hey, I call 20 points, but they go fucking 10 minis. My style of trading, I think what's a better style of trading in general is catching a little bit of a bigger move on smaller sides. You're not just scalping these tiny moves, because one candle can wreck your whole account, in my opinion. So I do tend to be more of a day trader style that I'm taking my trades, I'm trying to hold them for 30 minutes, an hour, which I just don't think it's long, guys. If you're holding a trade for an hour, I feel like it's really not that long, but there's those guys that you see 10 minis, they scalp, I don't know, let's hit 5 points and they say bang, that'll be in the chat. I mean, honestly, for me, if a trade doesn't hit at least 50 points, it's like pretty lousy trade. Not really something I would hype it up. I'm really always usually, if a trade doesn't even give me potentially 50 points, I'm not even gonna be in it at all times. But this was a beautiful reversal strategy, guys, and you need to stop getting faked out on that first 30-minute candle, guys. A lot of you guys get caught up in this 30-minute candle, guys, and I tell you guys all the time. This candle, more often than not, will fake you. It will be a candle to fake you out and take you to the opposite direction. So do not fall for those candles. To 9:30, just watch, hold. Trust me, if the setup is going to be there, it's going to present itself. Even here, right? Like if we look at this, I told you guys what was the target, is all these equal highs sitting here. Price came to hold them up and kept going higher, which wants to go to the next level. So your levels, if it's going to be a good entry, this is going to give it an entry. Right here, this IVFG gets touched. That could have been your long entry right there. Right here. See? If I delete this blue line, you can see it clearly. That can be your long entry right here. On in Q, the entry that I showed, the actual entry I took today, that could have been your long entry right there. Right here. So if a setup, if it's going to be a bullish up, if it's going to be a bearish up for the day, the entry will present itself and you cannot rush it. There's no need to rush, there's no need to FOMO. If it doesn't, then one, the trade is not going to be there, or two, you just weren't looking at the right thing like yesterday, guys. Yesterday, she just went sideways. She just went sideways most of the day. What was it right here? Can't even recognize it. It looks like right here. Was this NASDAQ? No, that's the day. I'm tripping. I think it was right here. I forgot when it was, but you guys, if you traded Monday, you remember. I'm on the 1 minute, so it's like look how grindy this was, just wicks everywhere. All this. And no real good setup set up, only for the short side here. And that's your best move for the day. So again, if you miss this initial short at the open, price retraces, gives you another entry. So do not fear, your biases will give you entries. Leave a like, subscribe, comment. Got a huge video coming out this week. What stocks to buy if Kamala Harris wins? What stocks to buy if Trump wins? So make sure you get this video a lot of love. So motivates me to make that video. As always, peace out, boys.